the camera pans down from the sky of a warm, sunny, blue-skied day with nary a speck of cloud in the sky upon the boisterous and lively Towerfall as people go to and fro, rushing about doing their business of whatever transactions they need to accomplish to suit the day's needs and hopefully not be hassled too much by the Northern Towerfall Guard. And we pan over to Abora. Abora, if you could please go ahead and describe yourself.
I sure can. So I'm a rather imposing figure, as most people say, as I'm standing just close to 8 foot. I'm a furbolg, which just means that I'm akin to the giant. Not quite a giant, but close enough. I guess depending on who you ask, that means a lot of different things. I'm a older woman, but don't ask my age, because a woman never tells. I've got white braids, so the tips are pink, because I like a little splash of color now and then. A bit of a darker color to my skin, and I like to put all the color everywhere else, so I've got, my herbs here on my belt, and a couple of potions in case you need it, and also always have a bag of tea ready for calming someone down or amping someone up, depending on what they need.
Oh my god, please tell me Abora is a quilter.
Oh, well, I dabble.
Oh.
Yeah. When I've got the time.
We venture down onto Abora as she is bustling about the streets of Towerfall. Abora, what is your normal day-to-day routine in Towerfall?
Well, it really depends on the day. I'm not one that's too beholden to routines, you see. I like to go wherever the, mood strikes. But I tend to stop at the shops in the morning, pick up what I might need. I'm a bit of a helper around town, I run a little apothecary and help with healing ails and listening to problems and giving advice. So I've probably stopped by the shops this morning and said hi to a few people and then said hi to a few more and probably forgot what I was doing. Usually I gotta go back out once or twice. Just about coming home now.
As you are just about heading home, you start hearing screaming behind you and running. And despite it being a cloudless, blue-skied day, the sky seems dim, like it's been blotted out by clouds of undetermined origin. And as you turn to see what the screaming is behind you, you see gaping voids in the sky where tentacles are flying out of the sky and pulling people up. And as they're being pulled up, there is you're watching their bodies dissolve to almost ash.
Well, I think I'm gonna give a little scream and rush a little faster towards home.
Okay. As you're rushing faster towards home, a rift opens up the part of town that you're in, and many tentacles fly through this rift. And as you're running, you're watching people to the right and left of you get pulled up off their feet. Which direction are you running, by the way? To the east or west?
Towards the east.
You're watching as these tentacles slam through buildings and rip people out of the ground. And you hear as one just narrowly misses, snatching you by the ankle as you're running. And when you go past the side street to where your home, where you would normally turn to your home, as you turn up the hill, you can just... the town has become anarchy. There's fire everywhere and people are panicking. But yeah, your street has been completely destroyed by whatever calamity has befallen this country. I'm not going to make this decision for you, but do you want to go check your home out, or are you going to keep heading? Where are you going to go?
I think as I'm standing there, I want to go home and check on my husband and son, but there's definitely a moment of pause as everything seems to be destroyed and everyone's running and it's just so loud. And, I'm a tall person, and I'm kind of loud myself, but it's a bit too much, and I'm gonna start running with the crowd.
There's no real distinct direction where they're running, because there doesn't really seem to be any... There doesn't seem to be a safe space. Roll a wisdom check for me, please.
That's a 17.
Okay. You get the idea that your best chance of surviving the situation is to go where there is... I mean, based off of your observations of how things function naturally, is your best chance of survival is to go where whatever this thing is hunting is less plentiful. And it appears that people are what's on the menu.
Yes, I think I'll pretty instinctively head towards the sea, since that's what she's most familiar with and what she's used to looking at out the window of the house.
You start heading towards the ocean. Being as you are in the southern part of northern Towerfall, you find yourself out in the more taboo parts of the town associated with funeral rites. Right, as you see a goblin pushing a small makeshift raft out onto the ocean and starting to paddle kick his way out away from the island of Towerfall.
How big is his raft?
He lays on it. It seems to be about the size of a human door.
Oh, so there's room for two on there, despite what people might think.
Squid for the alley-oop. I am going to give you inspiration.
I can make these kind of references all night, baby.
I am going to give you a die of inspiration for catching the joke I was setting up and so thoroughly putting it into that basket. That was
thank you.
That was fantastic.
Don't let go of me, Tombo. Don't let go. Okay. Well, I think there will be that moment of perhaps wisdom said to come here, but it's perhaps the fight or flight instinct that says I need to be where it's safe, and that seems safer. So I will kind of call and just wait, don't wait, and then try to take over his raft.
You can't hear him over the bedlam behind you, but you can see that he's gesturing you to hurry up if you're getting on. So you hustle and grab onto the side of the raft and kind of dip it down into the water as you pull your large body up onto it. As Tombolg comically grabs the other end of the raft and hangs precariously over the water as you situate yourself. Begin to paddle yourself away from the shore as you just watch what can only be described as the apocalypse unveiling onto the world. And as you aren't paying attention, Tombolg is getting a little bit antsy behind you as you're watching these tentacles from the sky.
I think I just stopped paddling too, and I'm just watching, kind of holding onto this door and watching it all fall apart, quite literally.
You hear, and Tombold gets increasingly more frantic and antsy behind you as you hear,
little guy. And I'll turn to look at him.
He's no longer on the. He's no longer on the door. And
oh, buddy,
you see ripples in the water where it seems like something may have just entered the water.
Okay, this is fine. It's all fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. Okay. Hello? Buddy? You guys still out there? Hello?
And as you say that last peep of a hello, you feel a suction cup about the size of a dinner plate encapsulate your face as you feel your body fly into the water. And your eyes fly open. And you wake up from a dream and you remember, oh yeah, I'm in Parava now, or the outskirts anyway. And it is a warm summer morning. It is actually the beginning of the summer festival as we pan back and say, welcome to Campaign 2 of Playing Games with Strangers.
Don't nobody know how the life will go. If you listen close, though, you can hear the dice roll and the characters narrating everything as they go. So let it go, let your imagination flow.
Playing games with strangers, chasing dreams into new adventures, rolling dice around their tables, fighting nightmares, facing dangers.
We pan in now on a small gnome as he enters into the town of Parava. Fenwick, as you come into this large town, you see as the sun is cascading over the top of the distant mountains, you see as local merchants are beginning to set up stalls and streamers and brightly colored ornamentations across the main drag going down through this sprawling city that still has a somewhat of a rustic rural feel to it, as the houses are tightly packed together, but there is still a lot of trees and foliage throughout this that gives it that nice woodsy feel that you appreciate given your chosen lifestyle. But as you come in, yeah, lots of colors and sights and smells, some savory, some sweet, but it does become apparent that there is a large festival that is underway.
And I'm very interested in this because it's all new. It's all new to me. Brand new. I'm experiencing this for about the first time. I've been here before, but I was a wee little child, and now I'm a wee little adult.
What does Fenwick look like for the listeners at home?
So Fenwick's about 3.5 feet tall. He's tan. He's got a very, very tan skin where there's no clothes. Under the clothes is very, very white. Very, very white. He's leather trousers, sleeveless jerkin that he's wearing, leather boots, but he does have a leather sleeve on his left arm and a glove on his left hand. These are not really armor or anything like that. They're there for reasons that if he trusts you, he'll tell you what the reasons are. He's got pointy ears, or a pointy ear. His right ear is fine, but his left ear, the point is gone. It was lost in a long ago incident. And he carries 2 swords on his back. One that he never touches, that's all black and looks very nefarious. And the other is just a normal sword. He also is coming into town leading, not riding on right now, but leading a hippogriff named Hadwin that has no wings. And so it has that... everything about the hippogriff is fairly normal, except that there are no wings on this beast. So it is just walking behind him very, very calmly, and actually not as impressed by all the sights as much as Fenwick is.
Okay. And as you are leading this hippogriff into town and taking in the sights, you get normally when you're encountering what could possibly be a social situation, you have a tendency to be a little bit more mindful of your griffin, as people have a tendency to get the wrong idea of his nature.
Yeah, Hadwin's nice.
Yeah,
he's a nice beast. He doesn't look for trouble.
Momentarily, you take your eyes off of him as you are taking in the sights, and you hear a crunch behind you in the approximate area of where you had last spotted your griffin.
Well, I definitely look over there. Hadwin?
You see your hippogriff pawing at a broken clay pot, inside of which there apparently had been a dead field mouse. And as we retract further, roll an Arcana check for me, please.
Okay. So 19.
Okay. Yeah, you're looking on the ground, and what initially struck you as possibly being graffiti, you're starting to realize was somebody's setup to a arcane incantation. And they are not currently around to have seen what had happened. And as you turn and look at your hippogriff, it is starting to choke down the dead field mouse that was in the clay pot that had broken open.
Hadwin. And so I do step over. I do try and grip his jaw. I can't because my hands are too tiny, but I try and grip his jaw and force that beak open.
And anybody who has ever owned a dog knows what I'm about to describe. As you start to go for its mouth, try to force its mouth open, it starts to choke it down even faster because it knows you're coming and it wants to get it swallowed before you can get to it.
Hadwin, no, Hadwin, and I'm still struggling with the beak. Now I've got the beak under my arm with one hand on the top part of the beak, the other hand on the bottom part, trying to pry it open. And I'm assuming not very successfully because the mouse is probably not too large for him to snarf down. But
and as you are doing this, Cass, Liev has charged you to assist with taking supplies out to his stall in his part of the festival. And as you are coming out to set up Liev's stall, you see a gnome that has a hippogriff in a headlock.
Yeah, I take the supplies that I currently have in my hand, and I'm watching this happen as I slowly, maybe not with a lot of urgency, walk away. I'm pretty kind of entranced by this is something you don't see every day. And I set the stuff over in Liev's booth and turn back. Excuse me. Having an issue with your pet there.
Yeah. I'm just he's eating something he probably shouldn't be. I've now shifted my body. I am actually straddling his beak now, holding the top with my hands, trying to pull that up toward me, and my heels are on the bottom part of his beak as I'm trying to just pry that beak open, hoping beyond all hope that mouse is still in the mouth part of his body and not in the throat or stomach part of his body.
Was it poisonous?
I don't know. It came out of that pot there, and I can tell you right now that's not a good pot for anything to come out of.
Okay, we can check that out. If no offense, but if your pet happens to vomit, you will need to clean it up as we are preparing festivities, and I can't have anyone walk in it.
No worries. I will take care of any and all mess that my hippogriff is responsible for.
Okay. If you need any supplies to clean it up, the inn over there, Snapdragon's Hearth Inn, right there, that you can find me there.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, Kaz, go ahead and describe yourself real quick for me. I apologize, Dave.
Casmus is a 6'2" tiefling with pale purple skin, intriguing, beautiful, wonderful yellow eyes, and currently donning commoner's clothes as he works in a tavern. Also, his horns are cut short intentionally, and he has his head pulled back in locks that are black, graying, and has a silver streak that runs all the way through.
All right, so we're going to pull back out and then come back down again. And Eb,
Yeah.
do you have any intention on seeing this festival?
Oh.
You have been in Parava for the last 50 years.
Yeah. I never miss an opportunity for a good festival.
Okay. Zelene, would you be going with her then?
Yeah, I'm not staying by myself anymore.
So the two of you are heading into town to the festival. Jura, during the morning of the festival, what is your intention?
Jura has spent the night at an inn on the mainland, which he hasn't done for some time. He usually keeps it to a few hours at most. He is looking aggressively for a young man who is moving quickly and has particularly loose fingers. So he is looking for somebody who is following and putting eyes on other people and trying to steal from them.
Okay, so as you are coming in to Parava, because it would make the most sense that if you're looking for that, you're going to be checking out the festival.
Mm-hmm.
Jura, you come across a furbolg and a high elf traveling into town, which is it kind of strikes you as an odd pair.
Do I recognize any iconography regarding Aurelia when I see Zelene?
Make a religion check.
That's an 11.
Gotcha. I will say with an 11, it seems like you recognize the iconography that she has on her, although the style of what she's wearing seems a bit outdated. And so it's familiar, but you don't know what specifically it is.
Okay.
So when we get to the festival, you just gotta stay close. There's people everywhere, right? Don't want y'all getting lost in the crowd.
I won't be going anywhere away from you. I would love to just... is holding hands weird? I haven't held...
No, I'll hold your hand if you like. I'm also real hard to lose in a crowd.
I've already lost someone, so I'd like to not do it again.
Yeah, no, we won't be losing anyone else. Don't you worry. We can maybe find him, too. Would that be nice?
Yes.
Or do we not want to find him? I can't remember.
Well, it would be nice if I found him, but I don't know why I lost him, so...
Well, that's the way it goes with a lot of people. You know, sometimes we just don't know, and then they're gone.
Jura, you overhear this conversation watching these two. Zelene, go ahead and describe your high elf self.
So, next to Ebb, you'll see a high elf with a fair complexion and very long blonde hair, abnormally long for the way most women tend to wear in the style. They're dressed in just older religious robes with a sash that does have the crest of Aurelia, which is a golden sun moniker. And then she does have with her, for some reason, she's carrying around a frying pan.
You never know when you need to cook a meal.
And Jura, as you guys are walking, you encounter Jura as well. Jura, go ahead and describe yourself, please.
You would easily mistake him for one of the many fishermen in Parava. He's tremendously sun-beaten, thin as a rail, but very wiry. You can tell that he has strong, powerful hands from years of manual labor. If it wasn't for his dress, which consists of a set of overlapping black cloaks, which are coated in some sort of shiny, reflective substance, almost like a rain jacket. He wears a large, wide-brimmed hat, and underneath it there is very long, stringy white hair. And you would assume he's quite old, but his stormy blue eyes belie that just a little bit. And if you look right at them, they are vivid and vibrant, with the life of a much younger man.
Is that him, Zelene? I'll lean down, but Ebb still talks loudly enough to probably hear.
No, it's definitely not. He's much younger.
Okay, so we're not okay, much younger then.
Hearing this distressed young woman call out for somebody who has perhaps abandoned her that maybe might match the description of Jura's quarry, he will move a little closer, very politely interpose himself. Excuse me.
Yes.
You said you're looking for someone.
Yes. Well, we didn't actually say that to you, but yeah.
We are, though.
Well,
yeah, we are, of course.
I happen to be from the Shrine of Tanaris, just off the coast, and I am looking for somebody who is about your age.
My age?
Perhaps you might
Mine
know
or
them.
hers? 2 different ages here.
Hers. He's looking at Celine as he says this.
Oh, not me? I would hope not me. I don't know you. But who are you looking for?
I'm looking for a young man. He's quite a pretty young fellow.
He's pretty young, or he's pretty and young?
Both, actually.
Like a pretty young thing.
Indeed. A charming, roguish type, I would say. He made off with something rather important of mine, you see.
It was my heart.
I was going to say the same thing, and you really took it right out. I was... All right.
You're looking for a man who took something from you?
I do believe that is the summary of what I have just said, yes.
Well, I'm actually looking for someone too.
Yes, I do think that's why I initiated this conversation.
Maybe we could look together.
Well, I don't know about that, but...
Well, he seems nice.
Celine, no. Pardon me, I don't mean you any disgrace, sir, but
look at...
I'm going to have a little moment for a second here with this young lady.
He seems like there's people at the monastery who kind of look like him, but they're nice.
Celine, we can't just go trusting all the strangers we meet. Just because you knocked on my window, it doesn't mean everyone's window who you knock upon is going to be a nice person. You got to be careful.
Well, you don't know.
Well, I don't know. You don't know either.
Unless you just say hi.
Are you a nice person?
That depends. Usually, especially nowadays, I would say so.
Oh.
You know, I have seen you before at the festival.
Me?
I forget your name. I'm so sorry. Yes.
Well, I'm Eb, Abora, or Mama Eb. Whichever one you want to call me.
She's very nice.
I do think I've seen you at the festival before.
You run an apothecary in town, right?
Yeah. Well, not in Pirava, but yeah, just outside in Lingrove. A little towards the coast.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Lingrove.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is it?
Yes. It's been a long time since I've been there.
Yeah, not many people come. It's pretty small.
Well, no, every once in a while I bring fish and I collect tithes from the few followers for the shrine.
For who now? Sorry, I'm not very in the, praying type.
No, of course. My name is Jura, and I maintain the shrine on the Isle of Tanaris, just off the coast. And actually, you caught my eye, young lady.
Well,
hopefully...
hold on now. What are your intentions here, sir?
It's nice to meet you.
No, you misunderstand me. He looks and very formally presents himself and says, "Surely we can hope he'll return home to you sometime soon," and bows his head.
Who's coming home to who now?
Celine also bows her head and back at him.
You are a priestess of Aurelia, yes?
Yeah. How did you know? Have we met?
Oh, well, no. We've never met. We just have a loose affiliation, I believe, religiously.
So we haven't met, but we know each other?
In a manner of speaking. You could say that the arc that guides our lives is connected.
Okay. I don't like studying, so I don't know how that works, but nice to meet you.
Eb, you hear a familiar voice in the back of your head as that conversation comes to that cringeworthy end. The familiar voice goes,
He's the catch.
I don't know about that. He's talking about a lot of religious things. I will say this in my head, not out loud.
Yes, but he is intelligent.
Well, there are a lot of intelligent people out there. That doesn't mean they're all catches.
The capacity for wisdom and intelligence can be genetically passed.
Yeah, but they're not mutually exclusive, and sometimes they don't show up in the same people. In fact, I find that often wisdom and intelligence don't go hand in hand.
Keep an eye on this one.
Well, alright.
He may be a suitable mate.
Well, I don't know about that. For you. It could be weird, but I could ask him.
If you say so.
No.
Dibs.
Don't worry. Go off, girl.
At the end of that conversation, Jura will squint a bit at Zelene in a way that says, "Did you understand anything I just said?"
Sure.
Well, my question originally was, this young man, can you describe him for me? I'm just wondering if we're talking about the same person. You see, he's taken an element that's very important to the integrity of the shrine.
But
I don't want to.
He was really handsome and really sweet and just really kind. And
Dorlin, can you come up with some maybe words that are descriptive of visual effects instead of emotional ones?
but when you look at him, he just is. That's exactly what he looks like.
Well, we got a lot to teach you, honey. Don't you worry.
You said he's very kind.
Well, I thought he was.
Ebba's just shaking her head from behind Zelene, just like,
Jura will smile kind of sheepishly out of one corner of his mouth and turn back. And how did you come to lose him then?
Well, the other night there were so many people, and I don't know what happened, but he just wasn't there when I looked beside me.
Real quick, what is the formation by which you guys are walking?
I thought we were stopped.
Or we walked. I think we stopped. We stopped walking.
I think we stopped.
Okay.
Came up to us.
I think Jura probably clocked Ebora's fairly defensive response to being approached immediately and is giving a very respectful distance, but he's probably standing across from them.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting because I was giving him a place to sleep, food to eat, and I also turned my back for a moment. There was nobody around. There was just the two of us, and he was also gone.
And he was also handsome and kind?
Devastatingly so. Although, the kind part I might withdraw, as he did take one of my lifeboats.
Do you have more than one?
I do. I didn't
Well,
swim
then
here.
it's not too rude. It's not kind, of course, to steal things. Don't steal things, Zelene. But, at least he didn't leave you stranded, so that's something.
Well, perhaps he had something of incredible importance. You never know. Maybe he came here.
To leave someone else?
People have all sorts of reasons for flitting about. I just want to have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
As Jura says this, you guys hear the loud shriek of a hippogriff, followed by a male shriek afterwards, coming from more centrally in town.
Oh, well, that doesn't sound so good. Would you guys like to walk together?
Sure, maybe that's him.
What was that? I've never heard that sound before.
I've never heard that sound before, and I've heard a lot of sounds in my life, so...
I have heard that sound before.
Oh, well, why don't you lead the way then?
Celine's gonna just start walking towards the sound.
All right, you come into town and you see a hippogriff leaning forward towards a gnome who is on the ground, prone, leaning back on his elbows as he's looking up into this gaping mouth of this hippogriff as it's standing over him.
Can I, just kind of use speech of beast and leaf to talk to this hippogriff and just be like, you need to calm down there, buddy. We're in the middle of a town. Can you not eat that little fella?
Is that a role thing, or is it just happens?
No,
thing?
so I can just communicate in a limited manner with beasts and plants, and they can understand my words.
In its own weird way, it kind of communicates to you like you're misunderstanding the situation.
Oh, well, I apologize for butting in then. Carry on. Are you okay down there, fella?
So I stand up, and now, because his mouth is open, I just reach right in. My arm, my left or right arm, just goes straight in. My head is inside his beak. It maybe even looks like I'm doing some sort of a Siegfried and Roy, but like I'm just reaching down and just like, come on, give it back. Don't. It's gone.
Actually, right as he says, it's gone, the hippogriff cocks its head back and tosses this gnome back into its mouth.
Ooh.
And then, but it starts making this jerking motion with its head, and you hear this. And then, well, it kicks up a gnome, and the gnome is holding on to a couple pieces of a dead rodent.
So close. So close.
I'm gonna just repeat my previous question.
Well, I'm not doing as good now as I was when you asked me before, but I'm...
You were doing better when you had a hand in its mouth?
Well, I wasn't covered in his saliva, and...
Well, I suppose that's true.
What are you doing?
Would you like a handkerchief? I just had a little handkerchief.
I don't know if it's big enough.
Zelene, as you say, what are you doing? And you lean forward to look into that. You trip over a piece of broken clay pot on the ground, and you fall onto what looked like to you graffiti. Why don't you make an Arcana check for me, please?
Can I check it as well?
You can you can as just a reaction for understanding the situation, but not for a reaction as preventing what's about to happen.
I got a 5.
Okay, yeah, it looked like graffiti to you.
Nice.
What did you get, Aurora?
Oh, I 13.
Oh, yeah, you're looking at a botched teleportation circle.
Oh, that's not good.
Apparently, someone was powering it using a life pot that had been broken. Whatever was in the life pot is no longer there.
Kids will do anything these days.
Okay, so Zelene, unfreeze the moment now that you saw where you were landing. You hit the ground pretty hard. And as you open your eyes, everything is in black and white.
Oh.
To the rest of you, and Cass, this happens right as you're carrying more stuff out past the weird guy wrestling the hippogriff. You watch as this blonde high elf hits the ground, and as she hits the ground, where either some of you recognize a spell versus some of you don't, just see graffiti, the flesh, fluids, fats, and everything else outside of her clothes and hair are teleported off of Zelene as she lands on the ground and begins to push herself back up. Essentially, what you see is a clothed skeleton with blonde hair. So yes, Zelene, as you look up and everything's in black and white, you see some fairly unexpected looks on the faces of those who just watched you trip.
Where do the colors go?
Oh, well, darling, I don't mean to alarm you. Why don't you take a seat for a second?
I'm already on the ground.
Yeah, you just stay right there. Don't move. It'll be all right.
What happened?
Well, that's a good question. Can I cast Detect Magic, please?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on here?
She fell into a botched teleportation circle, and without the life source to power it effectively, it only teleported everything except for her skeleton and her to somewhere.
Well, I'm stumped.
Is this an illusion of some sort?
No, I don't think so.
Are you sure? She seems unharmed.
She does, but, it seems as though... do you know what these symbols are?
No.
I kind of do.
Jura, if you want to check that, go ahead and roll an Arcana check.
15.
Yeah, you figured out what I've already described.
No, so it seems like some things have happened.
Yeah, I can't see any colors anymore, and that's like the best part.
Oh,
and
well.
You're starting to realize you can't smell. In fact, every time you breathe in through your nose, you know that feeling you get when you breathe in some really dry air in the wintertime and your sinuses just dry out super dry and it just hurts? That's what it's like to breathe in through your nose right now.
Zelene, your name was, right?
Yes.
I think you're all right. Just
Thank you.
keep it here for a few seconds. I'm going to tell you a quick story about something much like this.
Excuse me, did you just say that this young lady was all right? Because she's definitely not all right.
Oh, well, we're working on it, I think.
He's going to tell a story about somebody getting hit in the head by a canoe and losing their color vision for a moment as he hopes that Abora figures this out before
Oh, no.
Islaine looks down.
Oh, so it'll come back.
Yes, it always comes back. It always comes back along with everything else. You'll be fine.
Okay. So the smell, it'll also come back. I can't smell.
Congestion in summer festival.
Oh, it's not
they're,
congestion. It's like it goes right
There's-
through.
Well, pollen can do strange things to the sinuses. I've seen it on the sea.
I just lean over towards Fenwick and Casmus and go, do you guys have any ideas? Because I'm stumped, that's something.
You see, the salt gets carried on the air, and it just does all sorts of strange things to your senses.
I recommend keeping her away from mirrors for a little while. Just for a little while.
Would you care to go to the inn? We could clear a room out if need
that
be.
could be real,
Maybe for privacy.
real good. Okay. Well, does anyone have a pot with something dead in it? Maybe that would help.
To get my smell back?
I have part of a mouse here in my.
I'm sure we could
my
find
hand.
a pot.
Yeah.
Is this enough? I've got a hind leg and a tail, little tuft of fur.
Do I have any idea if putting back something dead and or destroying the circle would help this situation?
Roll Arcana.
That's an 18.
You examine this circle of teleportation and how it was set up and how this life source was positioned and what kind of pot was used and all the intricacies of the spell. And best you can tell, the way the circle was set up is it was using a life form from the location it was sending to. So if you were to deposit something from Parava, you would go to someplace in Parava.
Oh. So wherever this animal's from is where, other things have gone?
That would be the most logical.
None of that helps me to fix this. Okay, so I think what we need to do is find out where this circle goes to, and then we go there, and then we just pop her back in.
Yeah.
What circle?
The circle on the ground. Don't you worry. It'll be fine. We should take you over to the inn. Maybe have...
Do you look on the ground as she says the circle on the
Yeah,
ground?
I looked at the
Zoe?
graffiti.
As you look down where your hands are holding you up on the ground, you see skeleton hands where you expect to see your own hands.
Oh! That I, of course, move away from the skeleton hands.
They follow you for some odd reason.
We should go now, please. I think.
Yeah, why don't we get you
Are these...
a blanket?
Oh, wait. Are these are my hands.
I'll just,
relax.
arm around her shoulders and...
As Eb says we should get you a blanket, you realize you no longer feel hot and cold. You no longer have that sensation.
What are the statutes for necromancy in Parava?
It's generally frowned upon.
Yeah, Jura is going to stand as close to the skeleton as possible, so we don't look like a bunch of degenerates.
Eb's just going to use most of her body to, pick up Celine, start moving us towards the inn.
But Eb.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're going to get you fixed up. I don't have a tea for this, but I've got other things, and we'll figure it out, just like most stuff.
So I grab Hadwin's harness and say, "This is your fault. This is all your fault. I would volunteer you to be in a pot if you were small enough to be in a pot and I didn't love you so much." And we follow along behind.
I rush hurriedly to the inn and get the door open. And Liev, we have a situation. You may need to man the desk for just a moment.
Oh, well, I suppose I can do that.
Thank you, sir.
You see another furbolg, albeit this one is of the cow-faced type, as he comes towards the front. In the meantime, who's making up the rear of the people going into the inn?
Fenwick. I'm behind the trio.
Can this be the inn that Jura spent the last night at, and he just hadn't had a reason to speak to Cass yet?
Okay.
He'll be kind of surprised as he gets taken back to his own lodging.
Real quick, Jura, before we start diving into that. Fenwick, I need you to make a... What's your passive perception? Let me ask you that.
My passive perception is 12.
Awesome. So as you are starting to go towards the inn, you take a quick look back just to see if anybody saw you guys around that area to know, because you do feel like your hippogriff may be responsible for the situation. So you want to know how into it you really are.
He is. I don't feel that way. He is.
Right. So you turn to look back to see if anybody else had noticed you guys making your quick exit from that scene, just in time to notice a drow walking back over to his area where that circle was at, and he stands there. He looks confused, and he starts looking around as he's holding a sign saying, "Come visit the lost Pan Perdue."
Pan Perdue. Okay. Hey, everybody! I think I know where it went. I have an idea.
Oh, where what went?
By it, I mean the outer meat shell. That's not helping, is it?
What?
That is a choice of words.
The thing.
Yeah,
The
keep
thing.
going.
The stuff.
There? Yeah.
Pan Perdue. I've got an idea. Because that guy has a sign.
You have an idea because he has a sign.
Look at the sign. Look at the man.
I look at the sign and the man.
I'll look at the sign and the man.
There.
Suddenly, as spectators begin to hear this gnome shouting, "Look at the man! Look at the sign!" And as you watch, as they're watching as this gnome is pointing at this black-skinned elf and pointing him out to the other characters in front, as he is staring aghast as he is being, for some reason, ostracized by this crowd of people for being there.
Does his sign have anything connected to his symbols, or?
You don't see any symbols on there. All it says is, "Come visit the lost Pan Perdue."
Have I heard of this Pan Perdue before?
Go ahead and make a history check.
Can I also make a history check?
Yes, anybody who wants to try to recognize Pan Perdue can make a history check.
That's a 19.
Okay.
It's a 13.
It's a solid 7.
19.
That is a 9.
Why would you know these?
I read books, I guess. I don't
Why
know.
would I know?
Anybody who got above a 10, because this would be standard school stuff. Anybody who got a 10 or above, you know Pan Perdue as a legend that is taught in schools, common to this area of the continent of Fandiria. It tells of a mystical city that exists in the distant mountains that only appears once a millennia for a week and disappears for another millennia.
Ah, yes. I used to play there when I was a child.
Yeah, I think we all did.
Yes.
I didn't.
I didn't.
I played it.
You are still a child.
No, I'm not. I'm 18.
It's festival poppycock tourism business.
Hey, lady, can you hold this? And I hand Eb the harness of my hippogriff.
Oh, sure.
And I march over to that guy with the sign.
Oh, he's going over there. Okay.
Zillian? as you're watching this gnome march away from you, as he's handed the reins of this hippogriff off to your friend, you hear a kind of a clicky clacky sound coming from you, oddly enough. And as you look down, you see the hippogriff kind of sort of mouthing on your femur.
Stop that.
Like you would expect a puppy to.
No, we don't chew on our friends. You cut that out right now.
That's my leg.
Yeah.
You realize you had no sensation of pain when that was happening.
I can't feel my leg.
I'll just take a little ration out and feed the hippogriff so it doesn't chew on my friend.
Yeah, you immediately caught its attention.
Yeah.
It literally is like a teething puppy. It has that's basically its personality. Fenwick has done a very good job of raising this hippogriff.
Not too good. It's chewing on our friends.
Well, it's still a young boy.
It also would not chew on it if there was actually flesh there. So
That's fair. All right, you got me there.
All right, so Fenwick, you are approaching this drow who's holding the sign and very confused because you just said, okay, goodbye, and now you're approaching him. So he is beginning to fear. He has this look of fear for his life as you are approaching him after telling him goodbye.
he should. My fists are clenched. I'm getting more and more angry with every single step, and until I get in front of him, and then I just point at him and say, "What's going on? Just tell me what's going on, sir."
I came out here and I was setting up my sign and somebody vandalized my station. And then suddenly I have people pointing at me and saying, "That guy, that sign." And now I have you telling me goodbye and yelling at me, "Please don't kill me. I'm just a summer intern. I'm just trying to get money to go to college."
So here's what you're going to do right now. You're going to set it back up. Please. And thank you.
Okay, I just need to know where my mouse went.
I've got part of him right here.
That's not good.
Well, I can't do better than that. Do you need another mouse? What do you need?
I need a living being from where this is going.
You don't have extras? Come on. You've got to have extras.
Why?
So you could do it again in case you lose one.
If I lost one, I could just cast find creature.
All right, come on. Come with me. Come with me. And I take him by the sleeve and I start pulling. I don't know if he's coming, but I'm pulling.
He's just standing there staring down at you.
This way.
With his other hand, he reaches up to a chain that's around his neck and he lifts a whistle up to his mouth.
Just come with me.
How is everybody else reacting to the situation as it's unfolding?
Jura was starting to be like, oh, okay, it seems like it's time for, maybe we can have a conversation with this person, and then the polling started and the whistle followed it, and Jura had his hand out and has reached for his hat and just turned around and is now just stroking his hair, whistling.
Could you just hold this for me, and I'm going to hand the reins to Jura, and I'm just going to start walking towards these two.
Oh, gladly. You're a magnificent creature. You're so beautiful, yes. Hello.
Excuse me. Hi. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Hi, I'm Abora Katherine. Most people call me Mama Eb. Would you mind stop blowing that whistle for a second? Tell me who you are.
Ebora, actually, as you get up close, you notice, you know Jimmy Smits.
Oh! Well, hi! I'm sorry I didn't notice you from so far away.
He's just a 18-year-old drow trying to get some extra scratch to make his way to the wonderful wizarding school of Harold Patras.
Aw. How are you doing, Jimmy? I'm sorry.
He's the one who set the trap. He set the trap. He set the trap that made the
We're
thing
gonna get it
happen,
all sorted.
and he ate the mouse,
Yeah.
and then she had the thing happen to her stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. How are your parents?
Well, mom's doing okay.
Yeah. And your dad's,
You
is
know,
it doing
he's-
better?
Well, if by better you mean back at the corner seat at the tavern, yeah.
Oh, well, some of us have a long way to go in our recovery journey. So, Jimmy,
Yeah,
you want to do me a favor?
yeah.
You want to just let me know who hired you for this?
Oh, I'm just I'm doing intern work for Pete's Portals.
Oh, okay.
They're advertising some trips for I guess they're trying to expand into Fandiria, and they were trying to show people how powerful their portals were by letting them experience it. And somebody took the life source of this new model.
You know what happens.
Yeah, and so it's operating on residual energy, so it's not powered up enough to take all of somebody. Does that make sense?
Oh, we noticed. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, okay? Does the entire animal have to be in the pot in one piece, or can it just be like a bigger pot and it's inside another animal
you did
multiple
hear me,
pieces?
You did hear me when I said life source, right?
So it's supposed to be alive, is what you're saying.
That would be a life source.
So
let me ask you this: if you're operating a circle of teleportation that is based off of the memories of whatever the source it is, can the dead remember?
I'm sorry. Hold on. I don't mean to interrupt. Are you saying that this entire circle is powered by the memory of a rat? Because that seems a bit questionable.
It's a mouse.
Yes.
It's a mouse.
Okay.
It was a field mouse.
Okay. Oh, better. That's even better, because at least rats are intelligent. Field mice are just kind of there.
They have better memories than you would expect. I've spoken to a couple, and they have better memories than you'd expect. All right, so here's my idea, all right? We get Hadwin to cough up the rest of the mouse, or we feed him some very fat bacon that's going to, lube things up inside and get the mouse out the other end, and then we get some magic people to do magic things, and the magic thing brings the mouse back to life.
Can I just provide a counter idea?
Okay.
Why don't we just go to Pete's portal, who is in charge of this operation, and see if they can sort this out?
We could try that first.
Okay.
Pete can't be reached right now.
Why can't Pete be reached right now?
Because he's under indictment for his participation in trying to import an extra-dimensional entity for global destruction.
Well, that is a problem, isn't it?
How are you still working for him?
Yeah, let me just ask you how you're getting paid. Who's your manager? Can I speak to him?
Hey, can you please not hassle me?
No. I'm sorry.
my
My friend lost most of her body, so I'm going to be a bit of a hassle for a minute. Sorry, buddy. And if you want me to keep helping with that little problem and not tell the rest of the people around what that problem was, then I'm going to need to talk to the manager.
And you're the one who left it unattended.
Yeah.
You hear him just go, okay.
Yeah.
And so he kind of pulls a ring out of his pocket and puts it on his finger, and he disappears.
Do I still have his sleeve in my hand, or is he, gone?
Yes, you still had the sleeve in your hand, and as he puts this ring on his finger, you have a momentary sensation of breathlessness, and suddenly you are in a very calm wood where there are a bunch of trees around. And he's like, yeah, you can't follow me.
Yeah, you can't lose me.
This has been Playing Games with Strangers, featuring the vocal talents of Amanda Clements, Ben Avery, Celeste Mora, Dave Clements, John Michael Bilezikian, Josiah Crandall, Katherine Bilezikian, and John Haryu as our DM. Edited and scored by Katherine Bilezikian. Thanks for listening.